Okay guys, we're going to verify the following identity. You can see everything that's there. I know that it says secant of x, tangent of x, sine of x, and we're used to dealing with theta. It's not that big a deal. If you really like the thetas, whoops, there we go. New stylus, not sure how it's working. There we go. Yeah, you can put a theta in there. I will actually work with theta just because that's what I'm used to doing. As with everything that we do, I am going to start on whatever side I think is more complicated, because remember, it is easier for us to pare things down rather than build things up. So I'm going to start on the left. So I will need to remember how to write on the iPad because it's been a while since I've made a video. And I'm going to start with the left side. And then I'm going to take the left side and I'm just going to work, working straight down so you can see what's happening. The secant theta, remember we're trying to write things in terms of sine and cosine, so I'm going to write that as 1 over cosine theta, oops, minus a tangent theta should be a sine over a cosine. I might switch to a different stylus in the next video. And then that'll be times a sine theta, right? So all I did was replace the secant theta, oops, and the tangent theta. And at this point now I've got to do a little bit of algebra. So I've got 1 over cosine theta minus, well, all I do for the second is it's going to be a sine times a sine will give me a sine squared over cosine theta. And then I'm actually, since I now have two fractions, both have the same denominator, I can write it as one fraction. So 1 minus sine squared theta. That's a terrible 2. There we go. Over cosine theta. And that is going to equal, all I'm going to do is take one of this right here is a Pythagorean identity. And 1 minus sine squared theta is the same thing as cosine squared theta. All over cosine theta. And of course, when I am looking at this and reducing this, that cosine is going to disappear, the squared is going to disappear, and all I'm going to be left with is a cosine theta. And one of our reciprocal identities, we got to remember, cosine is the same thing as 1 over secant. Check, check.